Hey, welcome to Clarity Tarot. Today's reading is going to be what have they realized about you? And I'm meaning for this to be a love reading. So, of course, if other messages come through, I will share those with you. But my intention is to tell you what this person has realized about you that is either someone you're currently in a relationship with, a love relationship, a situationship, it could be an ex. But what is it that they understand about you now that they didn't before? And we have 6 piles. Pile 1, and these are all message cards. I will pull some tarot to clarify as needed, but I'm pulling from all my different message decks. So first pile has as one of the cards, message from type 2, let your love flow. Pile 2, childhood wound of type 1, self-judgment. Pile 3, prayer posture of receptivity, which is type 3. Pile 4 is the prayer posture of release, which is type 5. Pile 5, the gift of type 9, oneness, harmony, and healing. And then for the kicker, pile 6, for you brave souls that want to pick that one, I'm a narcissist. Very curious to see what is going to be in all these piles, but especially whatever's happening in that one. So, all right, pause the video and go to your timestamp for your reading. I will see you there. Hey, pile 1, if you picked message from the 2, let your love flow, this will be your reading. Let's see what messages you have, and we'll interpret them. Defense of type 9, narcotization. I love the attention you shower on me. I don't know what to say, so I say nothing, do nothing. I will never let go. You give me butterflies. Can I take you out? I'm a mess. Are you sure you want me? Let the people be heard. And I'm obsessed with you, this situation. Let me see, how am I gonna make sure you can see all of these? Just do a little rearranging. Okay, what has this person realized about you? So this person is realizing that your needs in this relationship are going a bit unmet, and it's causing you to feel a bit squirrely. And what I mean by that is, especially with this I'm obsessed with you card, I mean, this can happen for any number of reasons. I really believe that any like falling in love experience is one of obsession. But here what I'm getting more is like this person, I think you're a very emotionally open and demonstrative person. By that I mean, pile 1, like you, if you like somebody, you show them. You're an open communicator. You want to cooperate with the other person. You want to share, give and receive love. And I think you felt the vibe with this person, or feel the vibe with this person, but it's like they soak up what you give and they don't give you much back. And I think you're a very understanding type who, like, for the most part, you feel this person's receptivity, gratitude, connection to you. But over time, their lack of like reciprocity, I guess I want to say, in showing their emotions makes you, that's where this obsession is coming in. It's like you become more and more fixated on just trying to get that response, like that softness, that intimacy that you're longing for and that you offer them. So it's like this person, they receive the intimacy from you and it's enough for them, and they don't think about the fact that like you might need some of that back. And they're realizing this now, like, oh, I just soaked all that up and didn't really reciprocate or give back to pile 1. They're also realizing that like you're very loyal and committed. Like you were all about them at one time. Maybe you still are for some of you. but you really were giving your all to this person. They had your whole focus. For some reason, they missed that. There's a lot of reasons for this. I mean, it could be you were in the early talking stages, so it just didn't like enter their mind that you would already be sold on them. Maybe you were dating multiple people, and so they just assumed that they were not your number one. But whatever the case, this person's realizing now, like, oh, I really had them. Like, this whole time I was focusing on, like, getting them where I wanted them, and I had them the whole time. And because I fumbled this, like, emotionally, it didn't progress. So there's a range of you watching. For some of you, this is almost like a failure to launch situationship where you both were really feeling it, and the other person just like, I want to say, didn't have the skills, like communication wise or emotionally, to take it to the next level. And for some of you, like you're still in this dynamic with this person, and it's on a range, right? Like maybe it's not as extreme, but you definitely are carrying more of the like the emotional labor of the relationship, and this person is realizing that. They're also realizing that you have some insecurities. And for some of you, maybe they even were like critical or not very understanding of this in the past. With this, I'm a mess. Are you sure you want me? And it's like, I don't actually think that you believe that you're a mess, pile one. It's just you need a lot of emotional reassurance to feel happy in a relationship. It's part of why you give that. I really believe that we give what we most want back, you know? And so I think you gave a lot of that to this person, and then when you just never received reassurance back or emotional mirroring or caretaking in any way, it like started to wig you out a little bit. With the let the people be heard, to me, this is, it actually reminds me of, I'm not saying that you have this attachment style, it's just what's coming to mind, but with anxious attachment style, particularly if you're partnered with someone who is an avoidant attachment style, like when the emotional needs aren't met in the relationship, the anxious attachment person will like complain more, they'll get louder, they'll cry, they'll protest, um they'll like drop a bomb of drama into the relationship. At least that's how it feels to the anxious, or sorry, the avoidantly attached person. And by the way, like some people make a big deal about like whether you're this style or that style. I think you switch based on the relationship. Maybe you tend towards being securely attached, but any secure attached person, if they're met with an extreme avoidant or an extreme anxious attached person, it's like to balance that out, you shift to the other side, you know? So in this relationship, you were or are more on the anxious attached side, whether that's because that's where you are generally or because it's required for balancing with this person, yeah? And this person's realizing this too, that basically like the way that they've showed up in this really, like there's no accidents. Nothing that happened here or is happening here is because of just like how you are. It's literally how they're showing up and what the dynamic is in the relationship. And that can be changed. So it's like it's good news to this person because they're figuring it out. They're like, oh, this is why things aren't perfect. I actually need to be more demonstrative emotionally. I guess I need to develop some skills around that. That sounds really hard. Oh my, but I guess pile one is worth it. And I'm going to have the same problem recur in all my relationships if I don't fix it now. So maybe I should just fix it now. So generally, I think this person is understanding you a lot better. Maybe I'm not getting a super judgmental vibe, like they thought the worst of you or anything with some of this situation. But I think they're kind of like, okay, that's a little much. All right, pile one's getting a little extra, and now they're realizing like, oh, I'm creating or facilitating this. So it's a range for you whether this person will actually circle back around and say anything to you. Obviously, if you're in a closer relationship, they will probably share some insights, or you'll notice a change in their behavior. Especially, so if this person does bring this up with you and tell you what they've been learning, that's a really, really good sign, because that in itself is being emotionally demonstrative, right? Like, it's letting you into their process, what's been going for them emotionally inside. And so if you're in the position where you're trying to decide like whether to keep this relationship or not, if this person comes forward and shares about their inner reality, to me anyway, that would be a sign that it's worth investing in, at least for the short term, to see where things go. Okay, let's pull some tarot to see if there's anything I missed that Spirit wants you to hear from this reading. I'm going to use the Tarot of the Divine. So for pile 1, please, Spirit, anything that I didn't mention that would be important for them to hear about what this person has realized. We have the Knight of Cups, and it was wanting to come up in reverse. Yeah, they've had an opportunity to show you love, and they've just not done that. Like, I think this person feels kind of silly. Like, how did I not know that when I'm dating someone, I need to show them I love them? You know, it is kind of silly. And the world, oh, that's a nice message. Like, this person, you are the world to them. Like, you're everything. Can you see the way that I'm looking at the male figure here? Just how focused and in tune they are with the feminine. And this is how this person feels inside. And I think it's why, like, it's part of why you wanted this person. You can feel what they feel, but at a certain point, like, you need them to communicate it, right? It's not enough just for you to know. They need to be open and share. Also, I'm very drawn to like the upskirt situation we have here. So they really like that. They really like your legs. Okay, that's your reading, pile 1. I hope it was interesting for you and helpful in some way. Leave me a like, comment, or subscribe if you like, and see you in the next reading. Hey, pile 2, how are you? Welcome to your reading. If you picked Childhood Wound of Self 1, type 1, Self-Judgment. Let's see what cards you have. I respect you too much to make a move at work. Wisdom of type 3, believe equals achieve. Nothing stands your way other than positivity and a plan. I got in over my head. I miss you. Despite appearances, I really care about you. I like you. Spotlight. Dominating. Okay, what has this person realized about you? Excuse me, I'm still getting over this crud that I had over the last week or two. This person has realized that, I think this is someone, I mean, it is a romantic connection, but you know them from work or some kind of work-ish situation. So it could even be like school or church or something like this. They've realized that the way that you act in public or in this work situation is not how you feel about them. I think it's taken this person a while to figure this out, because they're not this way. Like, if they, and maybe you've noticed this, like if they're really into somebody and they work with them, like they just show that they're really into them. They might even like pursue somebody that they work with. And you just, that's like, that's a hard no for you. Excuse me 1 second. Like, you wouldn't want to risk your reputation, what you've built, for anybody, no matter how much you like them. Sorry, that's how they're realizing you are. But for them, they like wouldn't really give a care about it. They would just jump right in and everybody would know. It'd be very obvious this person is into you. Maybe this person has even acted that way and um it made you really uncomfortable. I think you appreciated it to some degree, but also you're like, this is creating a problem for me and I don't want anyone in my private business. I don't want a spotlight on us about, oh, we might get together or something. Like, no, not, I don't want that. So this person has realized that you have a very strong boundary that they need to respect about keeping things professional at work. I think this person has had a lot of fantasies even about, like, there's a card in this deck. Wow, what is happening to my voice? There's a card in this deck that says, like, can I drag you in the closet or something like that. I feel like this person would really love to do that. They'd love to have an interlude at work, or they'd love to really make a move on you. And maybe they've even started to do that a few times and you're like, what are you doing? No. And you just have really high standards, pile 2, and this person's, I think, a little disappointed about that because they just feel what they feel and they want to express it with you, but they're understanding it about you more. And that's really what I'm getting from this reading so far. Like, it's pretty straightforward. Like, they've figured out that you do like them, you do want to be around them, but because of the whole work thing, like, it just feels too complicated to you, and you're not wanting to overcomplicate things further. So what else for pile 2, Spirit? Anything that they should know that their person has realized about them? Pull some tarot from Tarot of the Divine. We have the Chariot. Yeah, you're on your way. Like, you're very goal focused. You're about the bag. King of Swords. You're the boss. I mean, no matter where you are in this company or in this situation, you just have a very high standard for your own professionalism. And not just for your work, but also for the relationship. I guess I haven't emphasized that enough quite yet. It's like you actually really are interested in this person, and so you wouldn't want to mess around like at your workplace. Like, you think more of them than that with the 2 of Cups here. Like, you really feel the partnership and the connection. And so I think you expect this person to, like, if they're really into you, come after you in a very personal way, which means like get your number and call you outside of work hours, or show up at your door or something, or have a conversation with you that's like, I like you, I want to explore this, but work is a problem. How can we fix it? You're important to me. And it's like this person is focusing on their work hours to like get closer to you, and that doesn't work for you. But they're getting it. They're slowly getting it. And they're also getting with the 5 of Swords that like this is a hard boundary for you. Like, you're not willing to budge on this. So I think this was your reading, pile 2. Interesting reading. Let me know what you thought. Would love to hear any feedback in the comments. Like the video if you liked it. And I'll see you in the next one. Hey, pile 3. Thanks for being here. Welcome to your reading. If you picked prayer posture of type 3, receptivity, let's see what other messages you have. Wisdom of type 4, through the power of heart, love, creativity, anything may transform. Be the muse. Can't we just talk? That's a song, isn't it? From like 5 years ago or something. Can't we just talk? Talk about where we're going. Off key. Don't pressure me. Executing. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm over it. Who are you? I'm not telling the truth, and aggressive. Okay, so And we're asking, what have they realized about you? Um, they've realized that your perception of them, and what they've realized is that you perceive them as someone trying to like run game instead of being straightforward, coming to you correct. Um, they're like they're realizing that you feel like they're just trying to like conquer you or something. That you're coming across like aggressive, like you're pressuring them, like you're just trying to get something done. And sometimes some of the things you say don't ring true. So this person thinks that you don't see them as very authentic. Um, and that you expect just a conversation, like a real honest conversation about where you are, where you're going. And they're not delivering that, maybe not capable of delivering that, actually. And they're realizing that this isn't going to work with you, like this approach isn't going to work. And I think this person's a little confused or frustrated by that because I think this has worked for them a lot. I want to say a lot. I'm not going to go so far as to say this is like a super playery person, but they've had some romantic experience, and they've shown up the same way every time in the beginning, and it's mostly gotten them where they wanted to go. But there is something inauthentic about it. I actually agree with you. The way it's coming through, it's almost like they're trying to win a video game is kind of how it's coming through in my mind. And they figured out this one approach to use, but it's just not that effective. It's not that positive an approach to use. They just keep repeating it, and maybe it was like semi-appropriate 10 years ago in terms of like their place in life and their age and whatever, and it's really not a good look for them anymore. I think they know this, but they've been seeing it very clearly through your eyes now. But they're like, oh shoot, like I have to level up. I have to like do this totally differently. I need to come at this with like um my true intentions and my heart in my sleeve. I don't know about that. And I think the impression they're getting from you is like, okay, fine. Guess we're not doing this then. But it's funny because like you're a very open person. You're very loving, and you feel something with this person. You do. I mean, you're here at this reading asking about them. But they're not quite on your level emotionally, and they're noticing that they have to be if anything's going to happen here. So I'm going to pull some tarot now from Tarot of the Divine. So Spirit, what else is important for pile 3 to know? What have I missed, or what would you like to emphasize differently about what this person has realized about them? 9 of Coins. Yeah, you don't need anybody. You really don't. You're independent, you're self-sufficient, emotionally especially. And so these like manipulative games, maybe they're trying to make you jealous or play on like your codependency issues or something, because that's worked for other people in the past and it doesn't work with you, and they're like, oh no, like I've got a real one here, which is what I've wanted, but now do I have what it takes? And it's a fair question. Like I'm hearing Spirit say like, yeah, that's the question they should be asking. That is the point of the situation for them. And look, we've got the Queen of Swords here. It's like I think this is your face if this person tries to come at you with some of this like nonsense. I'm hearing negging. Does this person neg you? Oh, it's terrible. I hate that. Negging is like when you try to, break somebody down or like tease them as a way to get them on your level. It's gross, in my opinion. 2 of Coins. Yeah, I feel like, so with this card, what I'm getting is this person feels like they have to transform almost from like being more of like a beast to a human. Maybe they've been just very driven by their impulses in the past, and that's what's helped them, again, be like somewhat successful romantically. By successful, I mean like being able to have conquests, but that's not the same as an emotional connection. And the rules are very different. And this person is like, ah, I'm in trouble. What else for pile 3? What have they realized about my pile 3? King of Cups. Yeah, they realize that I always, with this deck and this card, if you've watched my readings, you've heard me say this before, it looks so predatory to me, this dragon, with this, like, it looks to me like an ice cream cone. Like, they're realizing that this is how you see them, like this big monster who's going to do whatever they can to snatch this ice cream cone and before it melts, and you're the ice cream cone. And I mean, if this had eyes or something, it'd be like, don't eat me. It's just, I don't know, it's such, to me, I just get such a sinister vibe from that card. I know it's the King of Cups. I think they're realizing like how much they feel for you isn't enough if they're not going to act right, you know? Which I think is a lesson we all have to learn. Like, feelings aren't enough. Love is not enough. At least that's my point of view. You can love someone more than you've ever loved anybody, but if they treat you like dirt and it's a negative relationship that tanks your whole life, like that's not love in the end for yourself or anyone. Okay, anything else? Pile 3. Empress, yeah, look at you. Look at you. I mean, you've got it. You've got it, pile 3, and you know you do. And this person's going to figure it out or not. And I think it's been a really disappointing situation for you because of the potential of this person, you know? But they've got a choice if they want to get things together and change. And anyone can change. And at the same time, like, one of the best predictors of future behavior is past behavior. And if this person has been satisfied with just like dicking around, I'm hearing, with, you know, whoever they can have like a quick win with, and they've been doing that for years and years and years, like, that habit tells you something, you know? So, but what have they realized about you? I mean, you're everything. You're the Empress to their King of Cups, and they need to figure out how to level up, how to be an Emperor, how to truly be on your level for you to be open to this. And then I think, you know, if this person evolved a bit emotionally and spiritually, you'd be like, yeah, let's do this. Let's start tomorrow. Like, you're not closed off to this person, but you also, there's things you won't accept, and they're getting the message. Whether you said it directly to them or not, pile 3, like, they're picking it up. Okay, this was your reading, pile 3. I hope it resonated for you and was helpful. Please leave me a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next reading. Okay, pile 4, if you picked Prayer Posture of Release, type 5, let's see your reading. Thanks so much for being here today at my channel. We have I Still Think I'm Right, I'm Heartbroken, I Need to Look Better Than You, and Back to School. So what have they realized about you in love? I think they've realized that you've let them go, pile 4. That it broke your heart to move away from them, but you knew that you needed to. And with this, I Need to Look Better Than You, this is that thing where, like, if somebody really does you wrong, it's not ego. I guess maybe it is a little egotistical. I'm not getting it in a bad way though, but it's like, you know, I will not let them see how broken I feel inside. Something like this. Like, I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of thinking they broke me. And I think you're putting all your energy that you are putting into love into this situation with this person. You're putting that into yourself with the back to school. So this could be your career. It could be a creative project. It could be your health, just your relationship with yourself. There's a different application for each of you. But this person's realizing that whatever energy, intention, and focus you were directing their way, you're now directing towards your own endeavors. And they're kind of cut off. Yeah, I mean this feels pretty final to me. This release of this person. I haven't done this for the other piles, but I'm curious. How does it make this person feel, this realization? We have 5 of Wands, Justice, and 8 of Wands. Well, it makes them want to like rush back in towards you, and maybe some of them are doing that. But at the same time, like they think it's fair. They think you made the right call here. I doubt they're going to tell you that. You know, like, oh yeah, getting rid of me, that was the best thing you ever did. But they understand. They do, especially on a soul level, like they get it. And so even if this person is like trying to cry on your shoulder or begging or any of that, just know and be aware that deep down they think that you are doing the right thing. They really do. For yourself, they probably don't see it as the right thing for them, but it is the right thing for them also. I mean, what's right for one person, I think ultimately is right for the other as well. Because I don't actually think it's a positive situation to be with somebody like way above your station. Oh, that's funny. I've not heard that phrase in a while. But what I mean is, you know, if you, okay, here's just an analogy. If, let's say, if we were to put numbers on what you have to give in a relationship, emotionally, financially, physically, whatever, if one person has 10 units to give and another person has 3 units to give, like I don't think it actually serves a 3-unit person to be in a relationship with a 10-unit person, even though they have all this abundance. Because what happens to you if you're the 3-unit person? You either learn to be a user, you get entitled, I mean, and it's possible you could be like grateful and happy to receive all that the other person is giving, but at least at some level, it's got to deteriorate your self-esteem because you're just not where they are. You're probably never going to be, not in the short term. And that can be really eroding to your sense of self. And that can come out in all kinds of unhelpful ways and come out in, you know, manipulative or abusive behavior. It can come out in self-destruction, addictions, all kind of things. So yeah, not good for anyone. What else for pile 4? So that's how this person feels about the realization they've had. Spirit, what do you want pile 4 to know about this situation? We have 8 of Swords, 4 of Wands, and Page of Coins. Oh, we've got 10 of Swords on the back of the deck. I feel for you with this, pile 4. I mean, even though this card says I'm heartbroken, I wasn't feeling your emotion until just now with this spread, so I'm glad that Spirit's redirecting my attention. The Spirit's acknowledging that you have felt really like you have no options in this situation. Like you didn't want to let go of this person, I don't think. There are moments where you felt like, I mean, like this on this card with the 4 of Wands, just total romantic bliss. And 4 of Wands to me is like a spiritual connection card. Regardless of whatever happens between you and this person in regular life, spiritually, you'll always be connected. I don't know if that's good news to you or bad news, but the love that you've shown each other spiritually has been profound, and that will continue into the future. It's not just what's happened up till now. Even if you feel like you don't have choices, and um, there's just no option. Your hands are tied. With this page of coins, I always get the sense of like an inner child. Like, look how gentle this person is with are these elk. Just total harmony, total unity. Um, Regardless of how tumultuous it feels with this person right now, like spiritually, all is well. You're at peace with each other. Um, you've completed this stage of whatever lesson there is between the two of you. And there may or may not be more interaction depending, every situation will be different. But like your souls, your spirits are very connected on the spiritual level. I hesitate to use the term like in union because that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But I guess I can just use it and then explain what I mean. Why don't I do that, Jan? So I think your souls are in union, which to me just means like symbiotic. It doesn't mean you can only be in union with one person. It doesn't mean there's no room in your heart for another romantic connection. It just means that like you are deeply intertwined, interconnected, and there's symbiosis, harmony, positivity between you. Like it's a healed and perfect relationship on the spiritual level, regardless of what's happening physically. And so that's actually really what matters. I think that's why Spirit's bringing it through. It's like none of this noise is important. Like, yes, it's incredibly sad that your literal lives don't match up, but spiritually all is well. You can bless each other and support each other's paths from here, and you will always have like a deep soul friend, partner. What's the word I want to use here? Companion. It's companion. Yeah, you'll always have a soul companion in this person. Okay, pile 4, this was your reading. I hope it resonated for you. Please leave me a like, comment, or subscribe, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next reading. Hey, pile 5, if you picked the gift of type 9, oneness, harmony, and healing, let's see what cards you have. Defense of type 8, denial. Prayer posture of type 6, courage. Type 4, the love they want, there's nothing wrong with you. I see you, and there's nothing wrong. Prayer posture of type 4, balance. Wisdom of type 9, all is as it should be in you, in the world. Surrender to the flow of life. I'm sorry for everything. Can we start over? I'm taking responsibility for my actions here. I only want to be friends right now, and rewards on the way. Yeah, that should be like front and center here with this reading. Okay. What have they realized about you? They've realized that you're a person that wants to take accountability for your actions, that wants to keep your side of the street clean. I'm getting a lot of, are those idioms from like AA and 12 steps. So you may be someone who's in recovery or resonates with the language of the 12 steps of one way or another. Or even if you haven't interacted with that structure, perhaps there's some kind of addiction that you've released recently, and this person is somehow aware of that. They see that you are, and they're aware that you are receiving good karma. By that, I just mean like the natural consequence of your actions is now coming back to you, which honestly is how I think of karma. It's nothing mysterious. It's like if I work really hard at a job, that is going to have results, usually in terms of like being promoted or making more money or more happiness. Sometimes things get in the way of that and the reward is delayed. Like if I have a boss that's trying to hold me down or something, but then other karma is created with that. It can get complicated, but there's no such thing as a free ride. There's no such thing as injustice in the long term. I truly believe that there's always a cosmic balancing. And I'm really hoping that from our political situation here in the US right now, oh my goodness. I'm sorry to even talk about it. It's just really upsetting. There's 18 more days till the election or something, and I'm nervous. Okay, coming, maybe you are too, pile 5, because that's very random. I don't think I've ever said anything like that in a reading. So, what have they realized about you? I think that you've had to work through a lot. Like maybe you've been kind of defensive at different times in your life, unwilling to take accountability, unwilling to see what you were doing that was not helpful, inappropriate, negative, self-destructive, harmful to others. Maybe there was a time in your life where that was really hard for you to see or you just weren't willing. But that time is not now. Like this could even be a situation where what movie is that? I'm thinking of, it's not as good as it gets. It's Jack Nicholson, Diane Keaton, Keanu Reeves. Something's Gotta Give is the name of the movie. And Jack Nicholson goes through one particular period in the movie where he gets in touch with all of his exes and was like, hey, tell me about me, which is always a very brave thing to do, you know? And he makes some apologies and things. And I think that's coming to mind because that may even be what you've done in this situation. Like maybe you even got together with this person recently to have like a post-mortem of the relationship or just, you know, get some closure, talk things through. And so this person is seeing the change in you, seeing what you've learned since you talked last, seeing that you truly are wanting to be a positive person in the world and in this relationship. And that you're not one of these people that's like coming back around because you want to see what you can get from this person. Like that's not what it is for you. You want to have a positive connection to this person no matter what that looks like, what form it takes. And this person's really impressed by that. Like they notice the change in you and they're so happy for you. Like truly, truly happy. And whatever may have been said here, I don't know if this is an ex or something went wrong between you or there's something ugly that happened. This person is truly on your side, and by that I mean like they are a co-conspirator with you to help you reach your highest potential. Like they really want that for you. I don't know if they're going to try that hard, pile 5, because I don't think you have that kind of relationship anymore. But like this person wishes you nothing negative. They're not trying to sabotage you. They're not angry and vindictive. So if you've ever wondered about that, no, like this person, if any good news you would tell them, they would be thrilled. Other than if you tell them about being like totally wildly happy and fulfilled in a romantic relationship, they might feel a little salty about that. So maybe avoid that topic, pile 5. But anything else, like they truly want your best. What have they realized about you? I think they've also realized that if they had any harsh judgments about you at certain points in the relationship, like everyone has their downside, and perhaps they were too harsh in their assessment or judgments of you at that time. I don't even know if they would have told you about those, but you know how it is. Like somebody acts a little off, and we can form a judgment around that. Okay, let's pull some tarot now. So Spirit for pile 5. What else would you like them to know that their person has realized about them? 9 of Cups. Wow. Eight of Cups. Yep. Page of Wands. They've realized that, you know, you could have had it all, the two of you. And there's a different reason for each of you in this pile why that couldn't come to be. but you, in some way, like, you were their everything. You were their dream, and a dream that they've lost. And they understand that this is over. They're not trying to fight that with the Eight of Cups. But there is a part of them that would just love to get something going with you again. But I think this person really respects where you're at. They're not going to do anything to try to mess that up, but they are, I think, hoping and praying that your paths will cross again and you can start over. But like, they wouldn't be trying to direct that, if that makes sense. It'd be more of a prayer and a wish. And they would hope that that would happen naturally on its own. Anything else this person's realized? Or for a small number of you, maybe they're realizing that you're hoping that, just because of the way that came out. Hangman in reverse, the Fool, Queen of Wands in reverse. They realized, I think this is one of the judgments maybe they had of you before, that you didn't make necessary changes in your life, that you just sit on the fence too long, you're not willing to start over, you're not willing to make the changes you need to, and they're changing their mind about that. They're seeing that you are. You just maybe work at a different speed than they do. They do see about you still this Queen of Wands in reverse, which is like the ability within you to be very impulsive, maybe prone to addictions or addictive behavior, or prone to extremes. And this does give them a little bit of pause about you. I think that this person finds you very magnetic. The new bottom of the deck is the Devil. Like, this person is very drawn to you, and it feels a little dangerous and unhealthy to them. So like, there's almost like a red flag that comes up for them about how they feel about you, if it makes sense. I think you get that, Pile 5. I think you understand what that's trying to say. What have they realized about you? Yeah, so overall, this person has realized that you're doing well, that you're taking responsibility and accountability for your life, you're growing, you're a great person, and someone that they would hope to have in their life again in a significant way. And they're hoping that the foundation is set for that, so that in the future that can be possible. And they're very interested to see where both of your lives are going to take you. Okay, Pile 5, this was your reading. I hope it was interesting for you. Please leave me a like, comment, or subscribe. I'd love to hear what you thought about this reading, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Okay, Pile 6, here we go. If you picked the I'm a Narcissist, oh my. What are we going to have here? Who knows? Message from Type 5, use your head. The love they want, Type 9, a nest, a place for harmony and relaxation we can enjoy together. I'm worried about you. Are you okay? Do you think about me? Mental health. Please do this for me. I don't want to work here anymore. Pushing too hard. Meet me in the closet in reverse. Why did I say in reverse? Meet me in the closet. Can you do it on your own? You can't do that, and go solo. Okay. Okay, so this is interesting. So what has this person realized about you? They've realized that you really struggle with codependency, and this is what I mean by that. So codependency is when you need someone to be some kind of way for you to be okay. And more generally, it's using anything outside of yourself to feel okay. Because, in a perfectly healthy person, emotionally, you don't need anything. Obviously, we need food, air, water to survive. But truly, like, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with spirit, it's all that's needed for you to be emotionally stable and sustained. Of course, very few of us are there, but codependency can come in the form of many things. Like you can be codependent on tarot readings, you can be codependent on alcohol, on romantic relationships, on affirmation from others, on the approval of your family, on, I don't know, being a Republican in America. I don't know. There's all kinds of things. It could be literally anything. And the way you can spot whether you have this in yourself is what lengths do you go to that may be destructive to your physical, mental health, financial health, to get something that you know isn't really giving you something positive. For example, the example I'm thinking of is a job that I had. Actually, it was a volunteer opportunity. It was like a project I worked on. I've owned my own business for 16 years, and I've worked with the Enneagram a lot, which, you know, you see on some of these cards. And so there was this association that I worked with on a volunteer basis. And for many years, I want to say like 7 years. And in the beginning, it was a really positive relationship with me. For me, it was an outlet for me to meet other people who were working with the Enneagram, to network, to give back to the community. And over time, it asked more and more and more from me. And, you know, I wasn't being paid or compensated in any way other than, you know, that, and this is another topic, but I'm very leery of nonprofits in particular that predominantly use volunteers, because people are always paid, okay? It doesn't matter if you receive a paycheck, there's some sort of payment, and if there's no money, then what you're paid in is power and influence. And so organizations that work like that are very political and very layered and very complicated. And that's fine. For some people, it's fine. And maybe for certain amounts of time, it's fine. It got to be just not fine for me. Very frustrating. And there were several people I came across that, in my opinion, were very negative, more on the narcissistic or sociopathic side. And I was like, at a certain point, the reason I'm telling this story is at a certain point, I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I willingly putting myself in this situation and not being paid other than in this influence and clout and whatever that I actually don't really want or care about? Visibility, like I don't actually want visibility. You know, I've been more visible at different times in my life in terms of, I don't know, business presence and marketing and whatever. But I always did it because I thought that's what it meant to be a good business owner, until I realized, actually, no one needs to know about me but my clients. I you know, I don't have to create this huge persona that I then have to maintain. Like, ain't nobody got time for that or energy, and I just didn't anymore. But there were times through that experience where I felt driven, like I had to keep going with that project. I couldn't say no, I couldn't stop. And for me, the codependency was, what will others think of me if I commit to 1 year on this board of directors and then I quit? Or if I say I'm going to take this role and then I do like an average or below average job, like, what will people say about me? And what will they think of me? Will they not see me as a good person? I don't want to be misunderstood. I don't want people to think that I'm here for power. Actually, it was a big thing for me. Like, I want them to see that I've contributed something so that they won't think that I'm here for power. And in the end, as the universe always does, there was a situation created in which I had to just accept that people are going to see me the way they want to see me. And I just needed to do what was right for me and let the chips fall. And that was very, very difficult. I mean, really resulted in a lot of unraveling for me that was very painful. And that was just like a part-time volunteer opportunity, you know? Like it wasn't a huge romantic relationship. It wasn't my primary workplace, but it had so many, it had its hooks in me so many ways that was really helpful for my growth overall. I'm trusting that all that detail was helpful for you in some way. Just to talk about, how codependency can look like. But back to what this person is realizing about you. They're realizing that there's something in this dynamic that you have been codependent on that's been really damaging for you and has been harmful to your mental health. And you've been slowly realizing that and making changes for yourself. And it's really, really hard for you. Really hard for you. I'm going to tell one more story. And again, I don't like to tell so many stories about myself because, like, you're here for your reading, but I just, have to lean into trust that if it's coming up, then it will be useful for you. So thank you for listening and for your patience with my internal wrestling when this happens. And if you've been watching my channel, you've heard me do this more than once, I'm sure. So, since what this is just talking about now is you realizing some codependencies and areas in your relationships that don't work, and it's really hard for you to make those changes, the experience that's coming up for me to talk about is asking for a separation and a potential divorce from my husband, who I was married to, I think at that time, 12 or 13 years already. And our relationship was mostly fine, mostly good. There wasn't any huge problems. There had been, there's always issues, right? But like the main thing was when we were first together, it was very healing because we each didn't have a very emotionally supportive family of origin, but we were both very emotionally supportive people. And so it's almost like we reparented each other, is the way I think of our early years together. We did a ton of therapy, all different like healing modalities. We did it together, and it was what we both needed. Like, and I would say we were more enmeshed or just emotionally intertwined very closely. And it was helpful at that time. But there became a time when it was no longer helpful, where I'll just say my experience. My experience was that that he was leaning on me too much for his emotional needs and not like prioritizing that in his own life. At the same time, through this volunteer opportunity I told you about, plus my own work with my other clients, I had been overextending and overgiving emotionally, chronically for years, without really any thought of taking care of myself. I studied to become a psychotherapist at the time, where overtly or indirectly, I'm not even sure actually, but what I learned was you give 100% of yourself. Like in a session, you give all that you have to give to that person, that client. And so that was how I conducted my sessions. And sometimes, 30 to 45 client hours a week, which is a crazy amount. So that was going on. Plus I was feeling this like overwhelm. Like I come home and my husband also has these needs that he's not taking responsibility for, at least in my point of view. It was too much. And I just said, like, I literally can't, like, I can't do this. I want to be married to you. I want this to work. And I physically can't. Something has to change. We have to separate. And of course there were other precipitating factors too, but to me, like, that was the main thing. It was the internal dynamic between us. I felt he was depending on me, and I felt smothered emotionally because of that. I needed more space. And that was so hard for me to do. I actually started asking for it 2 to 3 years before we actually did separate. But I would say what I had to say, and then he'd say, well, why don't we just do this instead? Why don't you take a long trip to go see that friend, and we just won't talk for a week or two? So we had things like that we, and I would be like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I guess we could maybe do that. But it took me getting to the point of like really getting to a low place mentally and trying to get through to him like I'm not going to make it unless we do this. Like I need space, and I can't anymore. And that was just a very sad situation for both of us because we loved each other. We didn't want the marriage to fall apart, but it just wasn't healthy for me, certainly for me, and I don't believe for him either. So we finally did separate, but basically because I was falling apart, and I was like, we either separate or I'm not going to make it. Was kind of where was that. I'm sharing that story, I think, because I'm getting a similar vibe with you, and this person is finally getting it. They're finally seeing that like you want to do the most for them, and maybe you would even give to them from an empty cup, like you would give more than what you have to offer this person to your own detriment. And you're learning that you can't do that anymore. But you still really care about them. You worry about them. You want to support them and care for them, and you just don't have it in you for any number of reasons. I want to pull some tarot now and see, especially when I tell a lot of stories like that from my personal life, I really want to make sure to ground it with tarot so that so the important themes come through that Spirit's wanting to emphasize. So Spirit, what do you want pile 6 to know? What do you want pile 6 to know about what this person has realized? We have the Star, the 7 of Wands, and the Ace of Coins. They've realized that you've chosen yourself. And this to me feels very recent. And when I say you've chosen yourself, you've decided like, oh, this is my life actually. I need to choose to be the happiest, healthiest version of myself possible. You probably heard me talk on this channel about like choosing happiness and how that was a big thing for me in my journey too. Like I just didn't think about choosing happiness and prioritizing that. I chose, loving people I was close to, doing a good job, doing right by my clients, whatever, trying to be healthy, exercising. But I didn't specifically say, how am I going to be happy? What's going to make me happy? How can I choose that every moment? And you're doing that. And not just with happiness, but with your own well-being overall. The Star it's a card about healing. I actually had this in a private reading yesterday. It's also the card of Aquarius. So maybe you're an Aquarius. You certainly don't have to be. But they're realizing that you've decided, I'm not going to be a victim to my life. I'm going to choose situations and people and circumstances to the degree that I can that serve me, that help me survive. I do feel like it's at a level of survival for you at some level right now. Pile 6, maybe you're going through a really intense time. Maybe you're having mental or physical health struggles come up. And if so, like my heart really goes out to you. Like I even just like telling that story just now about my separation. I mean, that was a very, very dark time for me. And it felt like, in a way, I remember having this thought. It's funny because I don't really resonate with that thought anymore. But I had the thought of like, I've done everything right my whole life. I've tried so hard. How is this happening to me? Like I've worked so hard. I've been tireless. I've been unselfish to the degree that I've known how to be. Like I've wanted to grow. How is my life falling apart? But that was exactly it. That was what I needed to see was, I was trying, I was efforting, but I wasn't listening. Like my body was screaming at me. My life was saying, this doesn't work for us and you can't control this. You can't outperform, what's going on here. To a certain degree, you make a choice and you roll the dice and then you just have to adjust. And I wasn't willing to adjust. It's like I was saying, like, this is my partner, this is my husband, and it's going to be a good relationship. Everything's going to be fine. Well, what happens when it's not? You can't just keep telling yourself that and just keep trying. You just exhaust yourself. Anyway, this person has realized that you will heal. You are going to choose yourself, your own path, your own wellness, your own happiness, your own life. You're choosing your life. You're choosing to live. And you're becoming a new person, and that you are now defending yourself against anything that might be harmful to you in any way. And this is your new beginning moment. Ace of Coins, the Ace of Pentacles, is a really positive sign. To me, it always means starting something new that's solid, that's stable, that's a good seed that's going to be planted and is going to bear fruit. Okay, this is your reading, pile 6. I really hope it was helpful for you. I am so interested, especially with this reading, to know how this resonated for you, or even if it didn't. I'd be very curious to hear. So if you'd like to share anything about yourself in the comments or what you thought, I'd be really grateful. And thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate you being here. I'll see you in the next reading.